Hey, everybody, coming at you with much longer look with spoilers at the movie Hadestown. So, for those who follow, which, by the way, there are now more than 250 people following me. So, hey, nice way to pat myself on the back for setting some goals of mediocrity and slightly jumping over that pole. So, thank you, 256 people. 20 of you are probably, again, people trying to hawk me cryptocurrency by using people I follow and adding additional numbers to their name, but you're welcome here too. So thanks for passing by. Anyway, for those who do follow, I've been doing this for a while, which is just basically the idea that I go to the movies a lot. I love movies, grew up on movies, own over 4,000 movies, um, have a Regal pass, which is a blessing. Thank you, Regal. And so I tend to, like I said, go by myself a lot. So don't have a lot of people necessarily to talk to the movies with. So this was just a place I was going to come and process my thoughts so I could keep them in order. 27-year teacher, thoughts are scattered in a million different directions. So this was a place for my movie repository, if it would. So that's what I'm doing here. So I give my minute long one just to, hey, if people are interested, see it, not see it. But this is my much longer one, a little more in depth to talk about just the themes. And if you want to discuss with me and throw out some questions and I answer my questions, then it's a great place to do that if you want to. So let me just talk about Hadestown. I really enjoyed this on a lot of different reasons. And I know I'm trying to see 100 movies this year to get people to go back to the movie theaters. And like, those who follow me know, I think 2026 has been this really great year of film. Um, Hadestown, obviously filmed from the London shows. They came together to film with mostly the original cast um, to bring out Hadestown onto the screen. And I had a really great time in this movie. And like I said, in the short form version of this, for one thing, I saw this with this cast on Broadway in 2019. So I spent a lot of the time in the movie thinking about in 2019 the message that this film was portraying, um, in terms of love and hopelessness and humans versus environment and isolationism and using fear to get what you want over hope, um, constantly changing world around us and kind of the bleakness of where things were going. But the idea that in the end, we keep coming back to these stories. And, Hermes mentions that in the film that we keep coming back to the story of Orpheus and Eurydice despite knowing what the end is going to be like for thousands of years, because we as people don't want to believe that things are inevitable. We want to believe in the hope. And as long as we keep like a flicker of flame of hope alive, things maybe will change and things will get better. And we aren't going to surrender and give up, because Orpheus keeps that flame alive. He gets Hades to remember his love of Persephone and brings back the spring. So things like that. Maybe not we won't get everything we want, but if we keep believing, then the inevitable, like I said, isn't inevitable. And for this reason, in 97, 98, I went to see Titanic like 10 times, even though you know what's going to happen, but maybe that one time they can both fit on that panel over the stairway. See, I'm not calling it a door frame or a bed frame. So I don't know. We keep the hope alive. And so I thought about this a lot in the movie was when I went to see this as a play with my family. It was pre-COVID, the year before, obviously, the summer before. Still married. My kids were not yet graduated. And now seeing it 7 years later, how things have shaped after COVID, the world post-COVID, the world that we find ourselves in right now, where executive orders are being signed to eliminate endangered species and move data centers onto national park lands and giving them a waiver from the Clean Air and Water Act, mining rights inside of these places, and giving up the clean spaces, the environmental spaces, for the benefit of mining and drilling and everything else. And I thought about that, and obviously policies that are being placed, and the divisions that we have where people are being asked, to put their fears ahead of maybe their own value systems and belief. Like, be afraid of this, be afraid of that. We have to do these things because the boogeyman is out there, right? We see that a lot too. And so the play hit hard in 2019. Definitely hits a lot harder in 2026 in the place where we find ourselves. And I thought about that obviously too in my own personal life. 2020 also brought divorce. Two of three of my kids have graduated. My daughter's about to be a senior and graduate. So life has constantly changed. Life is moving, and that story keeps going, right? And I kept thinking about that, the thing, and then I thought about how great this format is of bringing Broadway musicals in, taped from the stage to the screen. And I thought about during COVID, for instance, how the Hadestown cast went out on the street and performed Hadestown for people on the street. And I thought about how one of the things we did as a family during quarantine to entertain ourselves was we, got the Broadway streaming channel and watched plays like Love Never Dies in Oklahoma. And it felt like being allowed to go out to the theaters, right? Beyond just seeing a movie. And so I think Hadestown, Hamilton have kind of proven this concept that there is an audience for this. I saw where Hadestown has racked in a ton of money for its production. The theater I was in was definitely full, where I haven't seen, not every movie this year has had the same kind of level of full theaters. It seems to be a thing, and I think it would be a really great thing to look at for Broadway shows. And I know Broadway is struggling to, when you get the original cast, film them during one of those performances, and then not only putting out that original Broadway cast album that has always kind of been a staple of Broadway, but when the cast leaves, putting out their show. So people who couldn't afford to go to New York or afford to see it, or afford a ticket, because tickets are astronomical, right? And if you bring a family of five, 2019, it was a little easier than it is in 2027 or six. We're heading into 2027. This makes Broadway accessible. I think it makes it feel like it's a place where you can still go. That's an affordable option with just a movie ticket, but you get to see the original cast that maybe the people who bought all those tickets out for the first year, don't get to see. And like I said, Hamilton, you got to see the same thing, Hadestown. And this is a great, like, ambassadorship, I would say, of Broadway to be able to do this. And I hope they do it more often. The cast, obviously incredible, as they were in 2019. I can tell they really enjoy coming back together. You can tell they still really enjoy the story, believe in the story. The joy on Andre DeShield's face to be in this performance is the exact same joy he brought to this role when we saw him on stage in 2019. And we sat in the balcony at the theater in 2019, and you could still feel that radiated joy from him. Like Patrick Page, even with injury, like he, I guess, hurt his Achilles, and they had him in a boot. He used that boot and the cane to kind of make Hades even more menacing. Right? Like, again, spoiler alerts, when he throws the cane away and dances with Persephone, it becomes a super emotional moment that is born of his injury and his talent, right? Gosh, everybody in the play that is doing a dynamite job with this play. So Eva and Reeve and the Fates and the chorus. You should definitely go see this. There's a lot of emotion cooked into it. There's a great story for our current time cooked into it. There's a great way to bookmark the time between where we're at and where we're heading, where we've been, and the hope that can still burn within us. Again, thinking that inevitable isn't going to be inevitable. So what a great, great performance. If you get a chance to check this movie out while it's still in theaters, definitely check it out. It'll bring out a lot of thoughts in a lot of different directions. And I'm curious to hear what you thought about it. What did you think? Those who've seen the play, those who've seen the movie, like it, don't like it, comparison. What do you think? I liked it. So go see it.